We are on point. Do you mind recall? There are so many things to say right now. So many potentialities in the reality of the bitter moon. The solemn reflection on the welfare of the Artemis II astronauts as they prepare to hurtle back towards Earth at remarkable speeds an hour in a tiny little vessel that we hope will secure their survival and salvation in these seas, where they will be rescued by well-organized men who haven't devoted their lives to the inner pursuit of intoxication via the conduit of narcotics. There is a reason primitive tribes die out, and it's not purely because of fascism. It's often always because of ignorance. The rave culture was massive in the 90s, but now we're all victims. We aren't boshing warriors in the fields of Avalon, in the empyrean dream of a gallant few, I say a few, a myriad of thousands, all getting off their rocks to all forms of specific tunes. But this is not what the Artemis II project was about. The Artemis II project was a new exploration into space to consider the likelihood of a re-landing on the moon, I believe. And this is more exciting than the time I caught my trousers in a Wurlitzer. We must be strong now. We must be smart. We must be virulent and wise. We must be peaceful and candid and aloft and amongst the truth without decaying ourselves to the very ill fabric of ill-gotten gain. The knowledge of faculties which reminiscence shut you fuck. I was doing quite well until then. You try to do too much, don't you, Claire? You try to do it all, you try to curve the main onion. You can't do shit. You can't do shit. You just dribble into your own puke of self-regard and self-evaluation like a smutting pool of debris, urging out the grins. What manner of puke is this offering of shite? This ignoble toss, born of ill virtue, and sucking on the udders of time, like a ribald spanky, the naughty parts not even dilating a touch. Not that they ever did, apart from the opening of the urethra in the male gland. Oh God, the revolting aspects of intercourse. That's why these days I'm a solo tube. A solo tube is a completely disconnected tubular system from the main body functionality of the biomass of the tubular wealth of humanity. You see, think about it. We're all connected to sex, we're all made of a tube. The top being the mouth, the bottom being the anus, and a lot of intestines in between, plus an esophagus, which is already great. Now, as tubes, as James Cameron, the film director, pointed out on LSD once, we are tubes. I am a severed tube from society. I neither kiss people nor get sodomized. I do shit, that's because I eat food, but that's because I'm a lone tube out there on the periphery of the magma. Not that magma is the right word, I'm just a little bit inebriated celebrating the successful mission of Artemis II. I can make mistakes, This is why I don't work for NASA, because I'm a Christian, and we need error to work out our plan to survive and be saved in this timeline. Because we are not perfect, highly intelligent genii who can create space rockets. No. We are sinners who require salvation, and we offer our repentance unto Jah eternally. But sometimes we just need a beer. And a snake. And they are not hellfire sins in Christianity. You'd be mad to think that. You really would be mad to think that. We are not Islam. You could have a drink without getting into too much trouble. You're not meant to be a drunkard. There's a differential. And if you think how much time many of us have as independent tubes, what else can you do? I guess I'm an independent tube sucking on the reservoir of lager instead of intermingling with the tubular system of the human network of intertubal species. I think that puts it best. Long are the hours spent on board a spaceship in a tiny little vessel, so let us give thanks now for interspatial dimensions of some curious ability, where we have the wealth of luxury where we can dance. Isn't that lovely? And you can fight too if you want, but I find that sort of grubby, the thick and the unruly. The clever ones want to dance. Have you noticed that? Prior to Michael Jackson destroying the mode of dance by being an alleged paedophile. But dancing prior to the Michael Jackson debacle was a wonderful joy for many human beings. In fact, you could say he was the leader of the rave culture, because we all wanted to dance like Michael Jackson to awesome songs in freedom and peace. But no, he got alleged for touching up little children, which is of course a desperately wicked sin, and all false accusers of such a sin should also be terminated along with such sinners, for they are vile and utterly nefarious of man. They are major tubular network disruptors, you see, because they're using their tubes in a very inappropriate way on young stubs. But I'm a solo tube. I don't even get the budded stubs, the long, ancient, old stubs of budding from the tubular network system, like aka an elder woman with massive stubbings. No. It's all grim really, isn't it, if you think about it? Because essentially I'm right. I know you think it's probably bollocks, but if you think about what I'm saying, it is true. We are tubes. Yeah? We are tubes in a tubular network. And I'm operating solo, but I'm like the Jason Bourne pasta. I'm sorry. Tagliatelle. FBI. It's a grim thing, isn't it, to think about with tubes of biology. But we also have a light system of photonic bioluminescence potentiality. And we do, because I've been illuminated by photons from God. Divine, gilded, holy, gold photons. And it was the truest moment of my life, and no one believed it. Blinded. That's why I sit alone now, shuddering and juddering and farting and puking like an ancient relic to a one-time awesome rave. But in these quiet moments while we wait and pray for Artemis II to descend in safety and well-being at ludicrous speeds, we give thanks for the mission. We give thanks again for humanity and for song and dance and music and great films and television such as Project Hail Mary, which is essentially a film about gay animist porn and falling in love with a bunch of rocks. I think the process behind the genesis of that film's origin was a guy having a giggle, thinking, oh right, E.T. was quite good, but can I be so clever in my artistry that I make humanity fall in love and weep with a rockery, a sentient rockery, not a herbaceous border, a sentient rockery in deep space on a spaceship called Make It Up As You Go Along. Now, without wishing to be cynical, I believed every word of it. And I shed a tear or two for the rockery when you will see what happens if you watch the film. And I know what happens in that film. That gives me some kind of smug knowing that I can meet people at barbecues this summer if I get invited to any, which I rarely do. I go, have you seen Project Hail Mary? And I'll go, oh yeah? Yeah. Smug knowledge of what happened. Others who haven't seen Project Hail Mary go, why? What happens in Project Hail Mary? You go, wouldn't you like to know? Why don't you go and see it, you cheeky monkey? We've got the knowledge. We've got the knowledge. And what I really liked was a little touch where the satellites were named after the Beatles. But of course, in one of my films, I wouldn't name them after the Beatles. I named them Chad, Anthony, Flea, John. And you know who I'm talking about if you know. If you don't know who I'm talking about, then what are you even doing in my schooling? I think you should evacuate the premises immediately. Because the Beatles made wishy-washy glam music to me. It was all a bit gay and twee as far as I can go. You know, it was happy, yes, but too sort of innocent and joyous and twee. Twee. They made a lot of twee music. And I don't like that. I like grinding, hardcore, full bass, ultra rhythm. Wow! That's a much better sound. But I would say that because I've done acid, which I don't recommend. And the light spaniel of the debris curve riddled out its form of Jim. What the fuck are you talking about now, you puke master bonker? You spanker of the turds. I find you, Janice, to be an uncomfortable woman, laden with grimace you about the way, and most indecent in your pitiful lament of the sorrows of man. May you be forgiven in your own glance. May you find the festoonery of issue which comes between you and your man's bollocks. There's nothing more to talk about, is there? I think we've reached end game of what matters and what is logical and what is reasonable and what is rational and what is reality. No one has a bally pajama whatnot clue what's really going on anymore. We know America are landing a rocket's lunar module called Integrity. I remembered something pertinent. And it's called Integrity. Let's hope it holds up. Thank you, Black Lady Newscaster, for teaching me that knowledge. And may they survive the plummeting speeds into the sea at penetrating miles an hour. My gosh! They'll be going fast. Which reminds me of a film I once wanted to make. Called the Chav Particle Accelerator. But we might as well make it the Chav mission to the moon, but I don't think that's believable. unless we really tried. But I don't see it happening. But the Chav Particle Accelerator was something very amusing that I thought could be done as a movie, where one guy in a gang is like vaguely intelligent, although it's very unbelievable that a Chav could be intelligent. But he decides, he looks into what a particle accelerator is, and he tries to persuade his mates to build one out of a few old bin cans and laser lights. Because if you throw enough rave sticks of multicoloured colour into a dishwasher with a translucent window and spin them, according to Newtonian's theory of light, you should get white light projected through the window of multicoloured if you've got all the colours of the rainbow, as in red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Get all of them in rave stick colours, put them in your washing machine, put them on spin, and you should project white light according to Newtonian physics. That was my own theory. On the back of Newtonian knowledge, when I realised he was talking the truth about colour and light, and I've taken the idea of colour being colour and light being colour one step further. I've taken it to the level where light is knowledge itself. Because think about it, we have two phrases in the English. He was in the dark on that, he was ignorant to that, he had no knowledge of that, right? Or he was enlightened, it was illuminating. He realized, he saw, he envisaged, he witnessed, in light of this being proposed as a new concept, in light of his new knowledge, it dawned upon him, dawn equating with light. Light is essentially knowledge, because to observe is to understand so often. And even when we read the books of stored knowledge of specifics, the registry in our memory is light being recalled in textual format upon the things we've read. It's a light recall. So you see, it appears we are light creations storing knowledge and experience. And this is quite huge. And I give thanks for that. And so I'd like to thank you all for knowing that this is all likely and real and actual. And as philosophical rockets beaming into the astral space of our own particular bamboozlement, it comes to some grand reason that we are glad to be alive. We are glad to see a new day of breath. We are glad for the wonder of every loved person we have in our souls and heavenly tapestry of joy. For they are the new wonder. They are the great expanse of glory. They are God's chosen in and out of time, showing us the purpose of who we are from a reverential third-party perspective. And I think that's quite permanent. The matrix of illusion. Johnny, you don't want to check on the main principles in that, because I think you've got to get a chicken diagnostic in the bet. That'll re-throttle the main enterprise. Then, using the fluid mind technique control, we should be able to re-waddle the main aspect. Hello and welcome to thank God Artemis 2 made it back to safety in glory in one piece episode. The trundling spears, the vagabond whoopsies. Now, I would just like to, this is a give thanks video to humanity. I give thanks for your delightful care in the community, and you're looking after each other in a solemn creation of intelligent form of intelligentsia that's really bringing us huge bonuses in innovation, invention, creation, reality, breakthroughs of knowledge, exploration. It brings a tear to my heart every day, the love that I see online in wholesome videos. Which brings me to something that I'd like to discuss today. Something that was not a wholesome video, and I've seen 2 now in 2 days, and they're really bad. And they are a sign of decadence and failure in the UK at an epic level of utter woe and sadness. In America, of great vision and epic beauty for love and handling each other's problems, we have the landing of the Artemis 2 rocket safely after a trip to the moon and back, and going to space further than they've ever been. However, in the UK, I've seen of recent days both a video of a poor policeman trapped in a trolley with chavs kicking the shit out of him, that poor man, and may those chavs be punished severely for their gross misconduct. And also a psychotic black man on the tube who drops his trousers, displays his fandangle, irritates one of those passengers, as you'd expect, who has a go at him. The black man goes, "Fuck off!" Which is hilarious. And he's like a psychopath, and they all beat him up, which is great, because that's actually probably the best technique to do at that juncture with a psychopath on a train displaying his genitals. I mean, wouldn't you? I don't know what you do on a plane, because you can't open the door and chuck him out, can you? It'd be bad though. Please don't take my advice, any black gentlemen out there wishing to display their genitals on the A707 to wherever. This is not on, is it? The comparison in class between cultures currently, if we take those two as a dichotomy of juxtaposition, is literally disturbing. We've got to do better, UK. I'm really not happy actually with our social, cultural imprint of respect upon current modernity. I mean, we appear to be renegade, evil, chav, psycho bastards from hell. And I include myself being involved in a video and involved with these people where they tried to beat me up on a bus, and I defended myself. And they have me doing kung fu on a bus. And I had no idea it was being filmed, so fuck them, right? It's evil times we're living in. There's a conspiracy of darkness rippling through space-time in every conceivable facet of truth. And it must be perilously quashed. If being a human means anything, it means to deny the power of evil as a subject under God. And I seek to do that at all times, yet I've been accused of the worst, which I never did. It all stems back from school. I never stole that camera. They accused me of that. I got framed. I keep getting framed, and I'm a bit sick of this, because I've got nothing to do with it. And do you know why they frame me? Because I'm better looking, I'm more intelligent, I'm more talented, and I'm fucking funnier than those shit faces who even seek to destroy an innocent person's life with methodology of underhand behaviour. It makes me want to puke and wattle, whittle and spear, drive my merry crumb into the brilliant wetness of doom. But we press on diligently through these forthcoming hours of the ever-decaying subtext of time. And there in my knowledge I find a grand reference of sphere, a new seal to call my solace. My empyrean dreams beam their creativity down towards me from known God up above, aka Jah, the witness of the biblical knowledge they have stemming and emanating from the Middle East so long ago, back in the islands of time, where truth was utterly laden with sufferance prior to the invention of the pill and Prozac. Glandular among the snakes of the jungle. Sorry, I don't know what happened there. So anyway, as I was saying, the true process of conduct between knowledge and fiscal ability is not always concurrent with actuality of dream. If you'd noticed this, I've been paying attention to everyone's fiscal sufferance, you would realize that education doesn't equate to money in. It doth, however, equate to knowledge and some experience in. But the true work is what the big men pay for, and that comes with sheer effort, talent and hard graft, and no one likes doing it. Doesn't matter what job it is, no one likes it. You're all emasculated and a slave's dream of pleasant race. Free yourselves immediately. Run out of your homes and go, no more, I will not take this sufferance of issue. I was not born to be an accountant, nor a shopkeeper. I was born to be something more than this. I was born to be something glorious, a phantasm of divine light rippling through love fields of eternal splendor, in the knowledge of the grand wonder of God. Which is why sometimes buying a Boost bar from John Menzies is a divine experience. Treading now through the crumbs of finery, I apply my notions of truth to issue that I do not find yet within myself. But what does that even mean? And am I just gripping on the cusp of time? Welcome to the cusp. The cusp of time. The cusp of my present. My truth is highlighted in the spectral field of wonder. And all knowledge bounces on the event horizon of the present. And we long for baked potatoes. But we don't long for baked potatoes. Because I don't even like baked potatoes. I apologize. I don't like baked potatoes. Well, they're alright with a bit of butter and a bit of cheese. But I don't like the outer casing. That is mank. You can take that and shove it up your rectum. Which brings me to the history of sodomites. Not that I know anything about it, apart from they created a lot of AIDS, didn't they, in the 80s. No, let's move on. Grotty subject. No, I'll bypass that one as well. No, Robin Hood. Now, there's a case in point. A dodgy character, if there ever was one, frankly. I loved Robin Hood as a boy. He was great, but as a father, I think he was bad news, and he was a bad influence on his band of merry men. And they were thieves, weren't they? They were thieves. It doesn't matter how bad you think the baddies are. You can't steal from the rich and give to the poor. The poor invariably spend it all on drugs, and it belongs to the rich. That's why they're rich. Right? So if you give it to the poor these days, it just goes on cocaine. I've seen it 1,000 times. Unless we're talking about Mombasa. But we're not talking about Mombasa, we're talking about Manchester, or Liverpool, or Glasgow, or Bournemouth, or Reading, or London, or Winchester. Big urban modern environments of civilized environments within the English countryside. And these places are meant to be places of erudition and knowledge and some wealth, but too much money is spent up the hooter, achieving nothing but a good guess on a Saturday night about what a radical dude you are, because you can tell the difference between detergent products. I can't. That's a good skill. But don't let it go to your head. We have no knowledge in the issue of cocaine. Nothing good comes from it. Not even good music. The good music comes from weed and sometimes acid. It doesn't come from cocaine. That gives the confidence to some to actually perform live, but it's not the cocaine that grants the soul the value the music resonates with. No, I don't think that's true. You see? Terrible. I just like a beer and smoke. I'm old-fashioned. That's why I look quite good for my age. I don't do chemicals. I have touched them in the past. Back in the 90s, where I lost my mind for years in a sufferance of torment that was horrific for no good reason other than looking for a hedonistic wank dream of a heavenly existence on earth, which never really came, not long term, not with epic solace that you would want for a heavenly abode. For that I found the government's welfare system to be far more caring in nature, intergalactically under an intelligent God, than banging out hardcore on acid to a baseline in a field in Somerset. Call me picky. We should thank God for the government we've got in this country, in which we were all blessed with some dose of luxury, and yet they spend their time online in their happy places, spitting disdain at the regulators of authority and the decent who seek to apply regulatory, sensible protocol and procedure to every element of actuality. While everyone else is drunk, seemingly. And I admire that. If there's one thing I like about government networks, it's logistical programming. That is genius. Think about your trucks and your lorries. They have to be guided with acumen as to reasoning why all over the world. Some of them. And these lorries have to know exactly what they're carrying and where to. And some guy has to sit in that cabin and drive that fucker all over the land. And that is why whenever I see a lorry or a truck, a part of me weeps inside. I salute them a little bit and I go, respect. Because that is a big man's job. And I respect truckers. They make the logistical world sing. They're heroes. They're all heroes of welfare for the body populace. And they do a lot of good. They import the shit we need and they export the shit they need. So let's hit it for truckers. In fact, what day is it? Oh no, I don't have a watch ever since I bought my Egyptian wristband, which I lost. Okay, which day? What day is it? Let me try and work it out. I think it's Saturday, April the something 2026. We need to know the exact date. January, April. Oh right, well that's interesting, isn't it? So there we have it, the 11th of April, shall it now be known as Truckers' Day. I don't like stress. I don't like anything which destabilises my equanimity into sweat mode or terror mode or angst mode or horror mode or violent mode or self-awareness mode at the horrific level of insight mode. I generally like sitting in a nice, comfortable, it doesn't even have to be clean room. I'm currently living in squalor and I'm comfortable. I'm not intense squalor, there's not feces on the ground, but there are a few cans and a few pot noodles, but I'm not discontent. I've been in many worse conditions. I know the true sufferance and agony of depression and schizophrenia at the levels most are not unblessed not to. Oh, I got that wrong. You know what I mean though. However, as I sit here, I am slightly regretting my life in one respect, in that I feel the lack of adventure has been wanting. And I do seek great adventure a lot. But because I live in an urban micro-oasis of a forest, there isn't much adventure to be had. Now you'd think there would be, but there isn't. I go on walks, I sometimes pass old ladies, and that's about it. And the old ladies, bless them, they're the least exciting people, which is interesting, isn't it? Because you'd think people who have been around a bit would be able to offer a bit more value into life than just shuffling along looking ill. But merry dancers are generally the youth, which suggests scientifically long-term exposure to reality isn't the celebration that we think it is of life. Being young and dumb is, right? But lithe and able to perform athletic ability. There's a difference. Old dears are shit at athletic ability too, right? And yet you'd think they'd come with wisdom and knowledge and power, but they don't generally. They generally come with pension stamps. And a lot of them do the lottery, which pisses me off. Oh, there's nothing worse than when you're in a rush to buy beers and you're caught behind an old lady buying a load of lottery tickets that the newsagents juice. That's one thing that really crisps my onions. So, for this long haul into the projected thanks for the Artemis 2 project landing safely. Well done, NASA, well done. Good mission involved America, well done. We must remind ourselves where we've been. It's a disgrace to man what those kids did to that policeman. It's not funny, it's brutally cruel and horrible. And that poor man will be so humiliated now his whole life. He'll have it, it'll linger with him. And I think that's an evil thing to do to someone. And it's shocking the absolute disregard for the law these imbeciles have. And I'm not happy, so you're going to be punished by listening to my conversation for as long as it takes for you to come to some kind of awareness of what warrants the true value of genius in life. Which is not being cruel or unkind, and certainly not being evil. I'm aware of your game, imbeciles in society. I see and think about your methodologies, and I'm not overly impressed. It takes a lot to impress me, and I don't find evil an impressive thing at all. I think you're going to burn in a lake of fire for such skullduggery. Because I find the finesse of man simply here emanating like a human mollusk, a jellyfish without sting. Just a little more than involved in a beep now. But you press on diligently through the pissing rough. The rough these ill cats of chaffery and displeasure afford my psyche of knowledge into truth. Sure they're rough, but they just want a good time. Don't we all? But one time is the idea of a good time is another idea of a good time, isn't it? We have multi-idea of good time evolutionary. Which brings me to infinite infinities. And why infinite infinities exist. Infinite infinities can easily be proved mathematically within 5 minutes. You just need to know basic maths to know this is true. So if we have infinite infinities, then what else do we have? Well, we have quite a lot. We have clotted cream, and we have peace on Sundays. Well, we have peace all the time really, but from when we don't have peace, and then we have war machines and bitter cattle being slaughtered for their steak-o-pies. But the Hindus don't like this. But the Hindus aren't violent, so it's okay. This is how reality is manifested, made construct in one man's vision of truth as a semblance of actuality. If you know what I'm talking about, which I assume you do, because many of you are actually well-raised, intelligent and educated. But there is a famous phrase from the Bible which states, in those days they shall be more learned, educated, but unable to know the truth. Now what is the truth? I'm telling you now. I'm telling you the truth. Is that a crown of light is a crown of life, a halo in the Gospels. I think it's in the Gospels. Is it? No, is it? Well, is it? No, it's not. It's in the Bible, it's in the New Testament. James 1:12, I think, is it. I'm a little shoddy of realization to memory and witness of this hour, and thus I think you'll find I need your mercy if I am to recall the full delta of that which I seek to express. Never mind, let us continue. I think it's James 1:12, which talks about a crown of life. And I got my crown of life after my trial in 1995. And I was haloed by God for my sufferance that I laid in my psyche upon his name within. And he did reward me, as promised, with a crown of light, which is a halo. And they do exist for the chosen recipients of God. And I was most blessed to realize I was Buddha, as in the enlightened one, at that point in time. But it put my parents through a lot because they thought I was talking cack on drugs. But I was not. I was illuminated by God for doing the right thing and escaping the world of war and taking the world to a better place of peace and love and knowledge and virtue and gain and talent and wisdom and grace. But therein lies the spasms pool. Oh, the wicked debris of the unfortunate. Not all were so smart in their integrity filled the vacuum morally as I. We lost many in the chosen on the long way. I've met a few friends who are already dead, but I am not. Why? Ask yourself, why am I not dead? And the reason is because I believe in God, and God has helped me after prayer more than once. This is truth. And I know atheists are the scum of the earth when it comes to understanding truth in the witness of the divine fields of self-reverential spiritualism. But let them have their shoddy moment in the sun, given that it's purely based on bog standard fundamental intellectualism, rather than the inexplicable definition of the supernatural witness we now have in spades to truth under God, the Empyrean. X-Men inspirations aside, we must muscle through. We must continue to isolate the field pockets of our own generic awareness and be thankful for all the glory in space-time. And there is much to be heralded, and there is much to love, and there is much to be thankful for, and even want to drape kisses upon if we're going to be truthful. Because if we're going to love everything, well, what do you do? The only beautiful people in the world at the moment, which is really bad, this is really bad news by the way, the most beautiful people in the world at the moment appear to be porn stars, and that's not good. I don't think that's what God intends at all, and it could be a reason for mega slaughter. Look at you-know-who, she who slept with 1,000 slags. If I say slags, that's a female term, isn't it? I meant male whores in one day. I mean, that's just grim, You get, I think, if we were hardcore, ancient, Eastern, severe in our moralist code of integrity and rectitude, we would kill her. But of course, being these sloppy days of carnal fuckwittery, she's probably going to be the queen in the future. Oh dear, that fills me with dread, something like enough to cause an emetic of 1,000 generations. I could puke for all time thinking that would be the plebs version of brilliance. Probably is. Fucking weirdos. The truth, as it doth is, between man and sufferance, is the bridge, the synapse detail, the coalescing of the neurons to present itself to man, to benefit a reason of truth beyond that of that which he hates. And I have found something beyond that of which I can't stand, tolerate and despise. And it is quite a simple solution of basic humdrum ingredients. It's a bit and a smack. And there's nothing wrong with beer, and there's nothing wrong with a smoke in peace. As far as I can determine, as long as you're not doing it in bed, as spoken, rather taught by the angels. I think you should all be piss off now, because I'm beginning to sense that my knowledge is too much for any mortal. And that the integrity field that I imagine my aplomb were truth to be known in the divine resonance, then I would be deified as I am more, given the sufferance I've endured, just wanting to breathe and love my loved ones with integrity upon this filled core of sufferance. Issue becometh the game. Options get outclosed. I'm being a twat now. I'm gonna fuck off. Right. But had you known the true honor, the true grasping, aching wonderment of everything, well, then you'd bow to the trees. You'd jam the spaniels. You'd broker the colonizers. You'd unleash the real. For I am truth, chlamydia. And the space-time awareness. Ask yourself, why do I bother sitting in a chair talking? I don't know. I don't know. But I think puts a smile on my face, gives me something to do. Hopefully it conveys a message of absolute cack. What is, no, we've got to say this. What is the message I'm trying to convey today, apart from the Artemis 2 launch? Bacterial fields, space-time awareness, photons, knowledge of halos, quantum awareness, truth, God, discovery of all things, matter, knowledge, love, potatoes, and other things of non-squalid indifference. And I do suffer from Clipper's thumb, so I can't work in part. Clipper's thumb. So much doing that, the thumb is eroded to a painful state of disrepair, where it's so severe, using a clipper to merely light your fag becomes a sufferance of utter tedium, especially in the wind and the wet when you're outside walking. So stick that in your lederhosen and call yourself a whoopsie. Everyone needs reason. Everyone needs truth. Everyone needs purpose. Everyone needs peace. Make it so. Find a way. Be the solution to the problem in your world. Thank you. I'm Commander Nick Clark of the Uberspeed Negotiation Project, and I give you enough information for you to go on, for you to run a scan for your fates and your new fatalities of reality and the future of normality. Go forth. Be brilliant. Be the best you can be in every facet and capacity that you can think of in reality. I've got your dream. I can offer solace. Just go now and be the best. Artemis Project 3. It's Clifford girl. Didn't want to have to do this, but I'm going to do it because I'm a brave man. Sometimes, not all the time, hardly ever. No, no. But I'm prepared to do this. Because I'm in quite a good mood. I like being in quite a good mood, and I'm rarely, well, it's been better the last while, but I was in a bad mood for a long time because of what happened to me. There's certain people I never want to see again in my life. They put me in a very bad mood. Yeah, I'd like to see some of them again, maybe. Not one of them, maybe two, no, 3, 4 definitely out. No, shissers, well, a lot of them, skaggers, punkers, debris wallers, grubbers, foolhardy wankers, bamboos and some buffooneries of man, the intellectual form of an errant spiritual decay of a cliché. I smothered to my boots and regained consciousness as much as I could the next man. The very fastidious bollocks that my father provides this reality is so square that one cannot even find move to room, gristle, muscle and bug. Let alone boogie woogie and the grim whim shimmy air of 1,000 flux of helification moments. I can't even say that word if I'm honest. Things get too hard at this juncture. You see, when you try to go up a curve intellectualism, but you're drinking, which takes you down a curve reality monism, you spew into a elaborate shitstorm of like flying a jet fighter very badly, and then invariably crash because no one's yet managed to fly a jet fighter piss successfully. Not that they've even probably tried, because that's not a very smart thing to do. And I doubt anyone can do it, but if anyone can do it, maybe it will be me. But that's because I'm trained, because I once drove on acid, which was awful. But beyond that, well, it's the only thing that could train me for jet fighter piloting when pissed, I tell you. It was the driving on acid thing. Major G's all the way, fucking hell. I had to focus like a ninja. But this is not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to spread the good news of the pre-Bruce Willis sphere of salvation. And that is the glory of JC, not once again mentioned James Cameron, the film director. This time, he of tubular wisdom. This time it's Jesus Christ. But we've all talked about Jesus Christ, and it's a lot of the time, and none of us know what we're talking about. Have you ever thought about, did he... No, I'm going to say that. So I don't want to put smut or grim issue into your brains thinking of sordid things that Jesus might have done. And I don't think he did, but I'm not fully up to the speed of all the facts by which to determine the truth of every second of his existence. Do you understand? And it is in this that I welcome myself to the begone throne of New Jerusalem. The truth is that the future, the promise of holy salvation, biblical glory for the welfare of manifest mankind in time's grand expanse, in truth, is a 1,500-mile cuboid spaceship coming to Earth in the future. And you can take that to the Bible. That's the truth. And you meet all these Jews and Christians and Muslims, and they all rant and rave about how great their religion is. And yet it seems no one can believe the truth that in the Bible, the New Jerusalem is a 1,500-mile cuboid future spaceship coming to Earth in the future. Now stick that in your holy pipes and rock it, because that's what I'm waiting for. That's the truth of the Lord, I think, as a beamed upon subject of illumination by the Lord. That's what I think he's going to send one day. It has to be, it's in the Bible. It has to be true. Why shouldn't it be? If the God is like an alien theory is true, spaceships are totally plausible. Look at the evolution we've got of mythical spaceship knowledge and creativity of intelligent man. That should be one thing that proves to you that with intelligence comes the desire to travel in high-tech explorations of space. Which brings me to the pearly gates. I've talked about this before, I think, but I'd like to discuss it again to those who may not be partial to my understanding or witness to the knowledge of the ancient folios of man and God. The pearly gates, it appears to me, are airlocks in the system of the New Jerusalem in the future, and there are 12 on each side. No, 3 on 4 sides, equaling 12. To what each one represents one of the disciples. This is according to the Bible. Get your noggins round that. This is real. This is real, and I believe it. Could be true. God is an ancient God of the cosmos. And I'm just a believer true, wandering through the winterland, wandering to summer blue. So we come upon this campfire moment, upon these new truths of present cusp of self-line discovery, and we realize we are on the cusp again, the cusp of time, the now. Present, baby. It's so real, so true, so defined in wonder is the gracious knowledge of actuality of man. And to be that kind of level of legend is not something that comes easy to us, so, you know what I mean? Creamy doth the onion flow. And that's a welcome thing to our knowledge of welcome. Because you are welcome if you can behave. And if you can't behave, fuck off. And I like to think I'm behaving. That's made me realise the young ones was instruction by the BBC system to teach our youth to rebel against the established church by mockery in intellect, pseudo-intellect, of authority and general oppression of religious mechanisms. What we truly need is a monk. A monk who's not just made of spunk and junk, but a monk who's made of knowledge of the Holy Scriptures and can whittle his etymologies in foreign tongue. Only then can we retranslate the Bible into a neo-form of brilliant English. And they didn't think I could do it. This immaculate probability of actuality. This purposeful creation of witness to cinema in all its glory. This divinity captured as witness to the subtext of what it is to exist as a sentient human being. I knew I had it in me ever since my mother's potatoes and the scrambling of the eggs and the battering of the omelets. We were all seeing finesse captured like a beauty and just wandering in the deserts of our own psyches, lost in the peculiar of that which we didn't know in any age that has become upon us. Your way to say what is the truth of knowledge. There's a calculation for light speed cubed, but I can't remember what it is. Not going down that route. We've had enough of this shit. Right, come on. We've got to pull together now. We've got to summon the knowledge of salvation for what warrants a good movie. If I can't do this, then you're going to feel a sense of failure and dismal displeasure at the grievance that you will find for putting up with me all this time of longevity and eloquent communications. And I don't want that to happen. I want you to be happy and content in my profound delivery of the English expressions by which you have experienced a cathartic moment. A cathartic moment. I apologize for that. The light turned off at that juncture and you've been plunged into the dark debris of the otherwhere. But thankfully, if any of you have managed to sit through all of this jargon, this bollocks, this rhetoric of cack, this sputum of unawareness, this freedom in a positive realm to luxuriate upon the actuality of being a psyche, well, you're a lucky fellow, or a maiden, and maybe a little more crimpled around the edges, but in happy form, to realize that the essence of actuality, the truth, the divinity, the purpose, is sometimes just a beer and a smoke. And that's all it takes, and that's what it's to relax, but it doesn't take you so out of your face that you can't operate. But it doesn't mean if you do it too much, but just a nice little touch, a nice little edge off the intensity of the stress. We have found solutions to our problems, and I don't see any reason why not use them, sir, without going too far into the cocaine belt, which is just obviously antibacterial mental. The efficacy will be filled including the LSD knowledge, which is shite as well. And so too the E providence, although that has a lot more advocates. I say we shut down the whole system and fuck it all. Ain't got time to bleed. Too many issues in the nuggets, too many issues in the pain, too many issues in the sufferance of strangers. Who are they? They come to me and blame me for their sorrows. Where would you be now without that and this and the other? I ask you that, my friends. Where would we be now without the history of existence? A little more than a blind man's quest. But what is a blind man's quest? Ask yourself that. And then you may be questioning things like a Koan, a Buddha, in the wretched skies of Babylon, where the wicked come to condole in the name of perversion. We're not doing that again. I'm sorry. I'm just an old storyteller, my friend, and it's time you listen to the truth. The truth. The male hero of the male young boy hero of the Care Bears in the 1980 film The Care Bears is called Nicholas. My name. Funny that, isn't it? And he goes mental when he reads the Bible as well. And the Care Bears have to save him. I haven't seen the whole film because my mother didn't let me go, and I really wanted to see it because it looked awesome to a kid in the 80s watching the trailer. I really wanted to watch that Care Bears movie in the 80s as a kid. Anyway, I ran away from home that day in a moment of free, liberated, positive optimism. And my mum was so freaked out she refused to take me to the town to watch the film, so I missed it. Years later I found out potentially why. The hero kid name is named after Nicholas. Nicholas, my name. And I've seen the killer moment on YouTube due to research of my archives of my wants and desires. And he's reading a book which is like, it's meant to be witchcraft, but I think it could be biblical because it's the same power, isn't it? It's the power of an awesome book to compel you into the notions of power. And Nicholas goes mental in the Care Bears movie. He goes absolutely cock-a-hoo wild with just, megalomania, for want of a term, of stark supernatural powers. And the Care Bears all get together and they save him by giving a belly stare thing. And the call sign is Care Bears stare. And they all do it. They all extend their bellies. And their little belly icons beam as one. And they communicate, it's like Ghostbusters crossing the streams, but multiple forms with Care Bears. And they do that. And they save Nicholas from being consumed by the darkness of an ancient twisted book. Which is, pretty intense. Especially to a kid. Even to an adult, frankly. Anyway, this is the most exciting film you'll ever see. About one man sitting in a chair. I hope I've done it. I hope I've done it by accident as well. Very exciting. A full-length feature film about one man sitting in a chair that's actually not shite. That would be pretty cool. I like to think I'd achieved that. I hope I have. I doubt you think this is not plausible. But, who knows to say, who wants to say what anything is. I've got to do something, haven't I? And I can't do much. But I've done this. And I've done it with a plan. So don't you ever forget this. Don't you ever forget what you've seen here today, people. You've seen the new things. New kid on the block. The guy knows what's going down in all the chip shops. They're selling chips. The blissful contentment of Blighty. Well done, Britain. Carry on being a big cack, but trying hard. Loads of futile cack of displeasure. So long the wanton debris field has issued buffeting across my witness, where the truth of the knowledge is sustained to the issue I feel in myself. Whatever. I'm a barking mad individual at one level. That's what they say anyway. I don't believe it myself. I believe I'm enlightened by God the up above. I believe in God wholeheartedly before He has healed me in the supernatural realm more than once. And I know He's there, bubbling among the quanta. Yes. And I have much knowledge of the Jesus cult, who will live in their manifold, multiple numbers, forevermore in salvation. Holy, holy, holy is what I have achieved to this day. In this space-time effort to give you the greatest film ever seen by man. In a few florid shots of bollocks, I have created gold. Which reminds me, don't lose them, don't leave them on a letdown, leave them on a piece of brilliance. So I shall, bear with me. it's better. Pissing in the lozenges of my own debris. Someone has left the field, but it's not me. I'm holding firm. After all the shit we've been through, there ain't much more we can take. But what else are you gonna do, punk? You're gonna sit and tolerate him spewing at your own piss. Get over the bitter feel of self-indifference and reckoning. It's time for the justice. It's time. Yeah. Sweating now. Hot potatoes and galoshes. No one knows it. One understands it. Everyone feels it. Everyone wants a piece of shit. To lie on the plane. Smeared now like a shit piece of toast with a last spread of marmite. That's how I feel. Given this sorrowful, bitter, torrid struggle we have endured to survive in the name of cinema. You are brave men and true for witnessing all this. I tell you, it takes a brave man to sit in a chair making a film. I've seen shit. Shit is real. And you know it. Everyone knows it. There's nothing I can do now but space. It's going so well. There is nothing I can do now but bend space-time. Do you understand me? I have to do this, people. I have to do this. Please forgive me if it causes you disruption in the main negatron field of anti-gravitational assumptions. But I am going to bend space-time for the betterment of all, especially the children who desire a placement and a tenure in heaven's knowledge. Got it. And that is how you bend space-time for a populace using subliminal causal methodology in theoretical light field mode. It's a unique concept. Definitely works. I've seen it 1,000 times. Well, I haven't. That's the first time it's ever been done. But to quote a colloquial axiom, it is my pleasure indeed this dulcet hour of grand awareness into truth and discovery and potential and lozenges. If only someone with truth. Do you hear that? Do you hear the dulcet sounds of an airplane landing? An airport not too distant from Yeovil town. Disgusting. The sufferance I go through to create this shite is amazing. And it's not even shite, is it? It's actual tangible witness to talent. Being able to deliver a full-length feature film in a few shots of the same shot, being one person in modal form of delivery. And then we have a more genius. The substance of the apex is not that which you desire itself, but the mission in the glory of the revelation to such a purpose. Yeah, I can think parallax. Parallax thought scrolling is my bitch. What I mean by that is thinking of two things at once. Can't always do it, but sometimes I can. Like, a Renegade Pantora. What is that? Doesn't make any sense. Shut up, Clark. I meant to say Peregrine Falcon and Pantera at once, but neither of them were the right option anyway. So either way, it's bollocks. But not as bollocks as falling in love with a bunch of rocks in deep space. Which, you've got to admit, is a bit of a load of bollocks. Unless it was a true story, in which case, it was a brilliant story, it was wonderful, but E.T. was believable because E.T. came to Earth. We haven't got the technology to get that far into space yet, and anyone who thinks he's going to meet Rockery and Chucky Chums, not going to happen. Unlikely. Further disknowledge of the likelihoods and actuality of space travel, I find. Call me a pigeon killjoy, if you will. The backcackers art of shite is upon us. But there we are, splendid in our form of self-discovery, realised now in the capitalised sphere of welfare. I am truth, as defined, and every ignoble issue against your scepticism shall be wrought with destruction, thanks to the Lord upon me, and the great knowledge of God I have bestowed in every cellular aspect of my entire light and false being. False, it was a wrong word. That was an error. It was not a Freudian slip. It was a legitimate error. For my being is not false. My being is very real. I meant forced being. Well, let's clear things up. I am as real as the man sitting on a chair talking that you think I am. I am like He-Man of sofas. I am here to spread the word of evidence to the power of one. And that is what I have achieved today. You can't deny it. If you got to this level, you know we're just tripping on elitism now. And that's fucking extreme. That's great. I'm glad you made it this far. You're a pretty cool potato. I just only hope the neighbors can't hear all this bollocks. So what if they did, Jeffrey? What if they could hear? Can you imagine that? Can you? I don't like to think that's true. And I think the condensity of the four walls is protecting me with some kind of embrace of audio protectionism. The caging in the wells. What does that even mean? I don't know. I wasn't even hazarding to guess at this juncture. It sounds bad. Nevertheless, nevermore, the true scope of definition to the witness of the extreme is that which you allow to be revelatory in your morality. Infinity. Notice the subliminal methodology there. The movement of the hands. You probably weren't aware of it, right? Right, they go out like this from the center point. They go out and around and together again. What does that symbol make? the lemon escape, aka the infinity symbol in mathematics. So, I think you'll find after that achievement of realization to the glory of our innate beings, there is nothing too much to worry about, and I hope you can all find solace in your lives from here on forevermore. We live in a glorious place under God, the one and the eternal of love, and there is no reason to really quibble with anyone when you're in charge of your own faculties like a Jedi Knight warrior monk, especially one of Illuminatus grade. It's been thankful and fantastic to be here talking to you today in this amusing and entertainment discovery of what it is to be a man talking on a sofa. I only hope you enjoyed the process, because if you haven't enjoyed it, then what are you still doing listening to me, talking to you? I made a mistake there, another error. I do apologize for my errors. They just come as standard, for I am a Christian. And I trust I will be forgiven. For if I'm not forgiven, then what is the point of my entire soul? What is the point of being? What is the point of everything I've been through and experienced and delighted in the name of wonder and miraculous joy unto God? What is the name of anything if I am not forgiven and none of us are? There is no point to it, it seems. It's just a massive, hellish genocide. That's too much for everyone to take, isn't it? And it is. Born of truth into this innocent world, we nonetheless scurry through, suffering, hoping, believing, holding on to that which we claim to exist as knowledge. And what if the knowledge of God is yet improvable, non-demonstrable, inexplicable to its alleged evidence? If we hold on in faith, for the knowledge of God is all we have at all. And without that, then we're damned. And there is nothing but sorrow in the bitter hearts of distant men, shining for a moment like gleams of Eternia, but too afraid of their own power, due to the inherent latent knowledge of the elders in history, by which to write the very substance of God. Too crippled by the notion of hellfire to even begin to want to tolerate a second of existence. This is the ignoble truth we find ourselves within as tubular ones, and why I guess I, as a solo operative spool of pasta, emit out on the bacterial plane, a little further than the rum tube of the interglandular ones. But I'll find a way. I'll find a way. I guess the way, it's obvious the way. The way you have to get back into interlocking with the tubes. I have to be tagliatelle more. I have to be new pasta. Holy pasta. Holy pasta. This is where it comes from, isn't it? That's where the phrase comes from. Father of God. It's not that. It's pasta, not pasta. Nice one. We've worked something out here today. Big. We are all interlocking tubular nuggets. And there's no reason to be afraid. Unless you're butting the stems. We've been over that. And I ain't never done that, so fuck you. Now we're going to create on. Dream a little dream of me, mamas and papas. You know it, I know it, it's true. We all did it, we all felt it. go that way somewhere when I'm interlocked in the knowledge of gracious beings, tripping out on the light fantastic, never knowing what is truth. I don't know. Do you? I've got no clue anymore. But echo, recollections of space-time. There's somewhere out there. I hear them. They're tripping out in a wonderment of time. They're being barbaric in a silent form. Did you hear that? Silent witness to my knowledge. I think you'll find the reading is clear. I am welcome to my species of organics. What is the time? What is the belly time? Only through the witness of my own glory, I realize I've achieved something that has not been achieved before. And I would like to put it down thanks to inspiration of the Artemis II space project, which has healed the whole populace of reason. Thank you. It's been a pleasure tripping out and dispelling issue with you in this time bracket of awareness, where glory becomes its own sufferance, and time is a body upon the oscillations of the